So yeah, let's just go over our week 2 picks because, well, this one was a terrible week. So we both chose Miami and they lost. So okay, let's just get straight to the record. He went 6-11 and I didn't do any better. I also went 6-11. I mean, our predictions were pretty much the same. Anyways,
not a good week.
Yeah, not a good week. This is a pretty bad week. So we're gonna go over because my mom and my brother were so bad in the first week we relegated them for a game. Yeah, we're gonna go and they got back in this week 3. So yeah, we are gonna make our picks and yeah. So to start off, we have Thursday, September 29th. Thursday. We got a Thursday game. New England versus New York. What do you think, Dad?
I'm going with the home team, the Jets.
I agree because
Jets.
Yeah, because Jacoby Brissett.
It looks like Vince didn't make a pick, and Mom took the Jets as well.
So we're just gonna give him the worst team.
Give him the away team.
Yeah, we're gonna give him the away team. Anyways, the NY Giants versus Cleveland. No, Cleveland.
Cleveland versus the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the home team, Cleveland Browns. They got a good defense.
Like really
good. The Giants are not so good. Mom and Vince both taking the Giants.
I'm going to Cleveland. Go to Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to Cleveland, Ohio. Chicago, Indianapolis versus Indianapolis.
That'll be a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
Two young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that my dad he has both quarterbacks in fantasy.
Ooh, yeah, they're playing each other.
Yeah, he has Anthony Richardson and Caleb Williams. So
I think I'm going to go with Chicago on the road.
I'm going Indy.
And Mom and Vince both went Indy as well.
Minnesota versus Houston. Oh God. Let's just say the Giants are gonna glad JJ McCarthy got injured. Oh my God, I just threw over my paper.
Sam Darnold, baby.
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
I'm taking Minnesota at home.
CJ Stroud, though. CJ Stroud has one of the best defensive and receiver rooms in the league, so I'm going to take Houston. Go down to Houston, the former worst team in America. Philadelphia versus New Orleans.
The undefeated New Orleans Saints.
Ooh.
I think they come back down to earth. I'm taking Philly.
Yeah.
And Mom took Houston and Vince took nobody again.
God, so we're just going to give him. Yeah.
Just give him Minnesota. And then Mom took Philadelphia and Vince took New Orleans.
Okay, LA versus Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's got a good defense, but the Chargers got a good offense.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
This is kind of like the Broncos versus Steelers game last week.
I think I'm taking the Steelers at home.
Ooh. I gotta agree
Russ.
with you.
I don't think there's going to be Russ, but
I'll admit I do agree.
Mom and Vince both took the Chargers.
Tampa Bay versus our Broncos.
That's no brainer. Denver
Woo!
Broncos.
Come down to Denver where everything's just better. Like that pretzel I devoured at the game. Green Bay versus Tennessee.
Oh, wait. Vince and Mom both took Denver.
Why am I not surprised?
Green Bay at Tennessee, battle of mediocre quarterbacks. I don't think Love will be back.
And Malik
Willis, he used to be on the Titans.
Yeah. Oof. This one's tough.
It's going to be a lot of running, low scoring. I'm taking the home team. Tennessee Titans.
Oh, I think I'm taking Green Bay.
Vince took Green Bay. Mom took Tennessee.
I have a lot more disagreements than we had last week.
Nobody's going to disagree on this one. Carolina versus Las Vegas.
Yep.
I want Carolina to win so bad.
I couldn't agree
But
more.
Las Vegas is going to win, so I'm taking them.
Yeah, I might take him in Survivor.
And Mom thinks Carolina's going to win, and so does Vince. Vince took Carolina and Las Vegas. So Vince thinks they're both going to win.
I think it's going to be a tie. Yeah, I'm not
And
sure.
Miami at Seattle. Tua's going to be out at least the next 4 games. So, give me Seattle. No Tua, no win.
Give me Mr. Got detained in week 1.
Mr. What?
Got detained in week 1. Miami.
Mom took Miami, and Vince took Miami.
So Detroit versus Arizona. No, I think Detroit's probably gonna win.
Who's home? Arizona's home.
It's gonna be Detroit.
I'm taking Detroit.
Me too.
They get the high-powered offense. Mom took Arizona. Vince took Detroit.
Baltimore versus Dallas. Ooh.
In Dallas. Baltimore has a real shot to be 0-3.
Yeah.
That'd be scary.
That
They were
would.
supposed to be one of the top teams.
Yeah, that would be scary.
But Dallas just got worked over at home by Minnesota. So
No, Minnesota?
who did they just play? Minnesota?
They played New Orleans then.
They just got destroyed by New Orleans.
Yep.
In Dallas.
So
Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Mom took Dallas, and Vince took Dallas.
Ooh, we also mixed opinions. San Fran versus LA. Okay, all three we're gonna say who's gonna win. 1, 2, 3. San Francisco.
Both teams are struggling though.
Yeah.
Mom took San Francisco. Vince took the Rams.
Yeah, because the LA Rams just got destroyed by Marvin Harrison and one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
Who?
The Cardinals.
And now we got
Okay.
the dreaded Chiefs. There's the
Ah.
Falcons. Falcons had that awesome last-second victory.
Monday
Night Football. But taking the Chefs. Vince is taking
I'm
the
taking-
Chefs as well.
Listen, I'm taking Atlanta.
Mom and Paulo taking
I
Atlanta.
just can't take KC again.
Jacksonville at Buffalo. Give me the Bills at home. Jacksonville hasn't looked great this year.
Yeah, we're also
Mom took Jacksonville. Vince took Buffalo.
so and for the final pick.
Going with the home team. Cincinnati
Yeah,
versus the Commanders.
Yeah.
I'm
But
going
although the Bengals
Bengals.
after week 6 are awesome, so wouldn't be surprised. if they went 12-5 this season.
And Vince is the only one taking the Commanders.
Okay,
Who
so
you picking for your Survivor? You don't know yet.
I might choose Las Vegas.
I'm out of Survivor now, thanks to the Ravens and the freaking Raiders.
Let me say swear word. Wait. Let's. What are your picks? Question mark.
Nobody's on.
No, one person is, but
I think that's me over here.
yeah. Pin message. Pinned it. So we're gonna react to some other people's picks because we have a lot more time since I don't need to go practice. NFL week 3 picks. Now we're gonna do like a reacting one. Now this could be becoming a bit.
I don't know if anyone's even done week 3 picks yet. It's pretty early in the week.
I guess that is 9 hours ago. We're going with the most recent one. Share screen on Chrome tab. Delete. Okay, so as it loads in, it's gonna take a minute to load it.
Overpaying? What does it want us to do?
Stop overpaying.
I see him on here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official NFL week number 3 picks and predictions, where I go through every single NFL game and my prediction, beginning with the Thursday night, relatively competitive with Jacoby Brissett. The first 2 weeks, you do have the Jets. I think the Jets have 2 tough games, week 1 and week 2. Now Aaron Rodgers coming to MetLife. They're 6.5-point favorites. I think this is their coming out party. I think Garrett Wilson goes over 100 yards with a touchdown, and the Jets win on prime time, and they cover that 6.5-point spread against the Patriot team. Let's be honest, we're just waiting for them to start to break. Man, it's probably going to happen in week 5 or week 6. Right now, they haven't been terrible, but they did lose last week to the Seahawks. I do think they're not going to be all that competitive against the Jets. Jets win this game. Aaron Rodgers, maybe 3 passing touchdowns. It's his first big game in a New York Jets uniform. Moving on to the 1 o'clock window points, you do have the Cleveland Browns coming off a galvanized defensive type win against the Jaguars. They do have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL. Deshaun Watson, once again, did not look good. He had 32 pass attempts, under 200 yards. It's just not efficient. The Browns, though, are sitting 6.5, and this is a game where the Browns defense they're going to feast on the Giants at home. I do think the Browns hold the Giants possibly under 10 points. They win the.
Whoa, that for 6 points. Get their first touchdown.
They still do have offensive problems, but the Giants at this point, we're looking at 3, maybe 4. 4 wins. Again, very likely to finish with a top 5 pick and be drafting a quarterback. So the Browns, with their defense at home, I do trust them to cover that 6.5-point spread and just straight up shut down the Giants offense. Even with Malik Nabers, if you are a Giants fan, at least you do have some optimism. You've got Nabers. That's a legit number 1 receiver to build around for the future, especially if you are drafting a quarterback. But the Browns defense is just way, way too much at home in this spot. Next, we do have the Green Bay Packers traveling on the road to take on the Titans in Nashville. Tennessee sitting at 0-2, although it is a very competitive 0-2. They've lost a few close games. They are -3. You do have the Packers coming off a home win against the Indianapolis Colts. It was a heavy, heavy, heavy dose of Josh Jacobs, 32 carries. I'm not sure they're going to be able to replicate that on the road. Will Levis has not looked very good. This is like his rendition to potentially be a franchise quarterback. We will see. I do think in a spot here with the Packers traveling on the road, they're not going to be.
Whoa!
Titans
Well, I don't know
I
about
agree with the Titans winning, but that scores a little.
that. Scores a
Being able
little
to run
bit
the ball
too
nearly
close.
as well as they did against
No,
Indianapolis. And even in that game, it wasn't like they scored a whole
17
lot.
to 14.
It was just a
Yeah,
beautiful
that's more
game
accurate.
script for them with Malik Willis.
17.
He's going to have to
Change out
throw
to-
in
change
this
out to
game,
a 17
traveling,
and
and
I'm
I don't
happy.
see it working out. I do like the Tennessee
It's gonna be a close
Titans,
one.
just law of averages. They're not an 0-3 team. This is a team that's at least going to win, you'd think, 7 games. So I think they're going to win this game. They're going to cover the 3-point spread. Will Levis, they possibly do it. Maybe Levis gets a few rushing touchdowns close to the goal line, and they win this game 24-14. The next 1 o'clock game, it is the Chicago Bears traveling to Indianapolis. So you've got another 1-1 team traveling to an 0-2 team. Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson looked really, really shaky week 2 in Lambeau. Week 1 was a lot better. I feel like Anthony Richardson, even though he's only started like 6 games, his home stats are way better than road stats. So this is a situation where it's 2 very young quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson technically isn't a rookie, but he barely played in year 1. So this is like basically rookie versus rookie with Caleb Williams. We know Caleb Williams has been struggling his first 2 games. He does have a really good receiver core, and I do think this is just a learning curve. Caleb Williams is going to be a good quarterback. Will he be a superstar? Probably not, but I do think he's going to be a franchise QB, especially his dual threat ability, his ability to run the ball. He could still develop into a superstar. I mean, it's very hard to play the quarterback position in the NFL, especially as someone getting thrust into it their first year, their rookie year. Remember, Mahomes didn't even start until just very Indianapolis sitting -2. I've got them winning by a field goal. I don't think they fall to 0-3. They're a competitive enough team to beat Caleb Williams, the rookie, possibly with a walk-off field goal or something like that. Next, you do have the Houston Texans traveling to the Minnesota Vikings, a battle of the undefeateds, 2-0 versus 2-0. CJ Stroud taking on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold having a potential breakout year. You do have Houston sitting 3-point road favorites. ESPN FPI gives Houston a 55% chance to win. And I really can't get a great gauge on this game, so I do have it relatively higher scoring, but I am going to go with the push in terms of the betting. I have Houston winning this game by 3. They are favored by 3.
Justin
But
Jefferson.
Vikings, it's hard to really predict their games right now. Like, I don't know how much of this is, Sam Darnold is actually an elite quarterback, and maybe this is just early in the season. He's playing really well, and it's all going to fall off. They do have a really good receiving core, so I do think Darnold's probably going to be able to keep this up for the most part. But in this situation, Houston is just overall more talented. They're the more complete team. They go on the road, and they win this game by a field goal, and I would say to take the over in that one. The next 1 o'clock game, it is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to take on the Saints. I believe the Saints right now are sitting -2. The Eagles last night were -1. They were 1-point favorites, but then they lost that game. Saquon Barkley dropping that 3rd and 3. Little short pass. He probably could have went into the end zone. They would have covered the spread. They probably would have won that game by 10 points. They end up losing it on a last-second touchdown to Atlanta, and now they're 1-1, and they're traveling to the Superdome to take on a Saints team. They've scored like 40 points in both of their games. New Orleans with a 51% chance to win this game. I do think the road team, the Philadelphia Eagles, I know A.J. Brown, he was out the past game. I think they get it done on the road against New Orleans. There's no way New Orleans can keep this up. Let's be honest. This is a Derek Carr-led offense. He's a decent quarterback. He's not an MVP. And right now he's playing like the league MVP. He's going to come back down to earth. I do think Philadelphia goes on the road, wins this game. They are, I believe, 1 or 2 point underdogs at this point with the live betting updating. The next game we do have, it is the Chargers traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Both of these kind of defensive-minded teams sitting at 2-0. Pittsburgh, 2-point favorites. It is basically a pure pick 'em when you look at the overall analytics. They've almost got the game ending in a tie because these teams are so even. But I will be taking the road team to win this game. I like the over 36 in this one. Normally, when everyone says it's going to be a really low-scoring game, it always goes over. So,
okay, I just wanted to say this. Never mind. I shouldn't say that.
We'll be taking the Chargers to win this game by 1 point. Very evenly matched, but let's be honest, Justin Herbert, he's a lot better thrower of the football than Justin Fields. Although I could say Justin Fields kind of fits this Pittsburgh offense perfectly to where it's all short passes. There's a few intermediates, and it's not like Justin Fields is a horrible thrower of the football. He just has the biggest thing with Justin Fields.
You gotta respect it. Don't over stats.
And lead the Steelers to 10 or 11 wins by taking care of the football and using that dual threat ability. But I just think Herbert is so much better than Fields that back-to-back games, 130. And I do think the Chargers win this game, possibly another very close game on a last-second field goal.
Oh, here we go.
Next, you
This
do
is
have
the
an
one we
AFC,
wanted.
NFC. You've got the Buccaneers taking on the Broncos. Kind of a rare game with Denver traveling to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sitting at 2-0. The Broncos at 0-2. It's very hard to have any faith in the Broncos at this point. Bo Nix has been
What's this guy
horrible,
talking about?
and it's another rookie. I mean, he's a rookie. It's very hard to adjust, but he
Bo
has
Nix
been
is-
terrible.
Bo Nix
his
is the
first
greatest
two games.
quarterback of all
You do have
time.
Tampa Bay. They've been
What's this
amazing.
guy talking
I mean,
about?
they've easily covered both
Bo Nix is
spread.
the
They
best
go on the
quarterback
road
of
to
all time.
Ford
What do you
Field,
mean?
Detroit. They win that game outright. They looked
He's
good.
on pace to be
They're
the
sitting
GOAT.
6.5-point favorites. Baker Mayfield had a solid year last year. He's carrying it over. And this is going to be one of those games because it's the NFL. Denver's probably going to win at Broncos.
Score.
Okay. Cortland Sutton's one of the best receivers in the NFL. I'm just gonna say that. Just putting it out in the world. Bo Nix is on pace to be pretty good. And let's just go over Marvin Mims real quick.
Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Marvin Mims isn't getting any
Easily
playing
cover
time.
that 5
They need to give him
4
some
o'clock
more
games.
playing
I don't
time.
know why the NFL
because
does
that
where they
9-yard
stagger it. There's like
touchdown
10
against the
1 o'clock games, and then only
Dolphins.
3 4 o'clock
Yeah.
games. But this week is
It's
pretty nice. You do have
amazing.
Carolina
Yeah.
traveling on the road to take on
I
the
take it
Raiders.
from-
Yeah,
Ooh.
Carolina did bench Bryce Young, which probably improves their chances of winning, honestly, with Andy Dalton, the veteran.
Dalton's
You've
gonna
got
be good.
Las Vegas sitting -5.5. They got that crazy upset, 9.5-point underdogs on the road in Baltimore. They win that game outright. And now this is their first home game at Allegiant Stadium
Where'd you
with
go?
Gardner Minshew. I think they win this game. They cover the spread 26-13. I have no faith in Carolina. Even
That
with Andy
seems
Dalton,
accurate.
they've got this narrative, a
Seems
little bit of a different
pretty
offense.
accurate.
Deontay Johnson
You'd be right
now with
on.
Dalton, Adam Thielen, but I don't know. I just can't trust them. I will take the Raiders to win this game. They did look good in Baltimore, and I don't think
Listen.
the Raiders are a terrible.
I gotta say something. If the Raiders lose, I will set my channel banner as Broncos 70, Dolphins. No, not Broncos 7. Dolphins 70, Broncos 20 for a whole month.
Ooh.
They're kind of in purgatory where they're going to be like 7-10 again, and they're not going to be able to draft a franchise QB. I think they win this game easily. Next, we do have Seattle hosting Miami. So the big story here with Miami, Tua Tagovailoa obviously not going to be there. You do have Skylar Thompson likely filling in, but I don't think Thompson, especially at this point, he's gotten some experience, is necessarily that horrible. Seattle is sitting -5.5. It's a hard game to gauge because of the backup QB situation. The Seahawks, on the other hand, they ended up not covering the spread against New England on the road. They won that game, and now they're 2-0. And I do think they win this game, but I do like Miami, even with the backup quarterback. It's hard to predict these
Hey,
games
they're
whenever
not
there's a backup
terrible.
QB, but I do think
Actually.
they cover this game barely. They lose 24-20. Moving on to the prime 425 game, it is the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens traveling to take on the Cowboys. The
Okay,
Cowboys getting
I would just say
crushed at
this. That record for the Ravens
home
It's-
last week to the Saints. They've got another home game
pretty
they will be
bad.
taking on for the Ravens to fall to 0-3. But I do have Dallas winning this game.
Oh,
Dak
they
Prescott,
got
that
going
offense,
0-3.
CeeDee Lamb, they're going to do enough. They got embarrassed last week. Baltimore, it's
That
just
was
a
a
tough
last
start to the
second
season for
field
them. I
goal,
mean,
okay?
they needed to beat
Even
the
still.
Raiders. That's a game, you're 9-point favorites. Now you're going on the road against a tough opponent who Dallas does have a good
That
defense.
was
I know they
destroyed by New
horrible
Orleans.
against the Saints, but they will bounce back, and I have them winning this game in a relatively higher scoring matchup. Maybe the defense really doesn't bounce back, but I think Dallas wins. Dak Prescott normally plays really well at Jerry World. The next 425 game, it is the 49ers traveling to
This is
take on
gonna
the
be
Rams.
51 to
49ers sitting at 1-1 coming off that loss to the Vikings. The
They
Rams
still
are
have no
low-key
CMC,
kind of a tank
Debo.
candidate. I mean, what are they
Wait,
going to
Debo's
do?
injured?
With their current
Debo's out
situation
for
with
a
Matt
while,
Stafford
too.
getting older. Seems like Cooper Kupp gets injured every year. Puka Nacua is on the IR right now. They're 0-2. They just got
Wait,
crushed
Cooper-
by a
oh,
division
yeah, yeah.
rival
Coop's out.
on the road. The
Cooper Kupp's
Cardinals,
out for a while,
now they're
and
coming
Puka
back
has a lot of
home.
injuries.
They're taking on San Francisco.
pretty
7.5-point
good
favorites.
ball,
I think San Francisco wins this game and covers the spread 24-13. They win this game by
They're both
11
missing a
points.
lot of good
They
players.
still are a really
I
good
know,
team. Brock
but-
Purdy's a solid
I
quarterback.
know,
I
but
understand Christian
Brock
McCaffrey's going
Purdy
to be out the
could
next
make
few
the
games, but I still think
receiver
they win.
situation work.
The Rams are completely banged up at this point, and it does seem like they could potentially be like a 3-14 team. Honestly, maybe they'll be better than that, but they might be one of those teams that's looking for a quarterback at the top of the draft, considering how old Matt Stafford is and the amount of injuries that they currently are dealing with, along with the fact that they have not looked good so far this season.
It's gonna be like
We've got another 4:25 game. This is a fun matchup. It is the Lions traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Both of these teams sitting at 1-1. Detroit -3.
Detroit,
Very, very
Arizona.
close matchup according to analytics. Detroit given a 49.9% chance to win. The Cardinals are at like 49.1 or something.
The Cardinals have a
Chance of a tie. So these are very evenly matched teams. I do think Detroit goes on the road in a very high-scoring game. We saw what happened. Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison Jr. He is a stud. He is already a #1 receiver in the NFL. But this is still a good Detroit team. I don't know if they cover that 3-point spread, but I do like the over, and I think they win. It's a bounce-back performance after losing last week to the Buccaneers in a game where they were about 7-point favorites. They lost that game relatively easily. They come back. They win this game against the Cardinals team. They've got a lot of hype, especially after that last performance against the 49ers. It's going to be a fun, high-scoring game there. Moving on to the 8:20 Sunday night game. Here's a rare matchup. It is the Chiefs traveling to Atlanta in an AFC-NFC. 2-0 versus 1-1. The Chiefs coming back, beating the Bengals. I had the Bengals winning that game outright. But honestly, at least, I said they were going to cover that 6-point spread. They should have won that game. At least they covered it. Now you have the Chiefs sitting -4.5, given a 58% chance to win. And I do have the Chiefs just barely winning this game, but I do like the value on Kirk Cousins and the Falcons coming off that Monday night win. How about the Falcons Monday night game and then a Sunday night game? To be fair, that Monday night game was a lot of luck. They very easily could have lost that game, potentially by 10 points. They end up winning it, though, and I do like them. Everyone's going to be amped up. This is a huge home. This is Atlanta's biggest home game in years, for sure. Taking on Patrick Mahomes in a season where you've got Drake London, you've got Kyle Pitts. Like the next 3 games after this, I believe the Bills are all on the road against tough opponents or relatively tough teams. This week, though, they are at home. They're taking on the Jaguars. The Jaguars desperately need this win. This is just a tough situation. I mean, the Jaguars did not look good against the Browns. They're going on the road.
Yeah.
We know the raucous environment.
I'd say 34 to 20 would be good.
I will take Josh Allen to win this game and barely cover that 5.5-point spread, 26-20. They improved to 3-0. This could be Josh Allen's MVP year with the narrative surrounding that team losing Stephon Diggs, and it's really just Allen and James Cook. Another thing the Jaguars really have not been.
Did he say Josh Allen MVP?
If he could win it this year with no receivers,
able to run the ball at all their first 2 games, that's going to be tough now going on the road without any type of rushing attack. Maybe they'll be able to find it in Buffalo, but give me the Bills to win that game and cover. And then the second Monday night game, this is the 8:15 game. It is Cincinnati hosting the Commanders. The Washington Commanders getting the win this past week. Jaden Daniels' first win. The Bengals sitting at 0-2. We all know. I mean, everyone's going to be picking the Bengals to win this game. The Commanders, even though they won against the Giants, they did not look very good. They did not score a single touchdown. And I do like Cincinnati to win this game and to cover that 7.5-point spread.
I like it.
They cannot fall to 0-3, and they've got a relatively easy matchup where they should win this game. They very easily could have won in week 1. They had a few things go against them at home against the Patriots, and then week 2 against Mahomes in Arrowhead. That's going to be a very tough game, and they were really competitive. But this matchup, they win, and they cover that 7.5-point spread. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.
Yeah, I think we might watch them in future streams. He has pretty good picks.
We'll see how he does compared to how we do.
Yeah, last week was just a pretty bad week.
Let's hope for a better week this week.
Yeah, we better go 16-0 to recover. I'm just kidding. The Denver pick. That's a meh.
It's gonna win.
Yeah, they're gonna win, but it's. I don't know, think about it.
Are we out?
Yeah, I think we're gonna make it to the playoffs.
Whoa,
With Bo.
that's a crazy prediction.
6-4-6. Anyways, that will do it.
See you next week.
See you next week for week 4 picks and a recap from this week. Bye.
See ya.
See you.
See y'all.
Broncos are going to make the playoffs, by the way.